This is a really big, close one that almost hit us. We have a major hack on the supply chain. Big deal out there. This turns out that it looks like it was a nation-state hack, and it almost attacked Linux operating systems. Now, if you're not familiar with that, you may be like, well, who uses Linux? Basically, most Android devices are operating on a distribution of Linux. So most Android phones, which is most phones out there, that's one thing. And the second thing is most servers, most computer servers for websites, as well as things like networks like Amazon or Walmart, online shopping, those servers almost exclusively run Linux. So this is a major hack. This was a patient infiltration into the supply chain that was able to get a major update into the supply chain, and this went unnoticed for over a month. How many systems were compromised, I do not know, but this is a really big deal, and security experts out there are saying this is the biggest thing since the solar hack out there, the solar wind hack out there, which it potentially got into many companies' systems. This hack absolutely allowed people to, with the right password, to tap directly into whatever target system they were looking at. They could use a backdoor into any server that was operating this operating system at the time. That's huge. They could tap into most smartphones. 80% of smartphones out there are running Android Linux-based operating system. So that's huge. 92% of servers around the world are operating Linux systems. So we're not talking about a small portion. We're not talking about a small bit out there. We're talking about most of the servers, most of the phones, all operating on the system, and this security flaw was huge and could have impacted you already. It may have. Or if you have not updated your system, it may continue to be an exploit on your phone, or if you're operating a Linux system out there. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and we are keeping track of the supply chain issues and other issues out there that could affect you. We've got a lot of hospital hacks out there. We've got a lot of companies being hacked all over the place, but this is a computer system that we're talking about now. And I know a lot of people, they want their computer to work. That's how I deal with printers. It's just like, why won't the printer work? And that's all I really care about. But computer systems being hacked means your information could be out there. How many of these computers were hacked? And we're going to ask the question, who actually hacked this system? Because this is a big deal. And how do they do this? We're going to talk about that too. If you ever wonder how a hacker could basically bring down an entire system out there, this is basically how. So the user was Jitan. And I know sounds Chinese and quite possibly, or definitely Asian. Jia Chong Tan is the name that the username that this person was going under. They became the steward, open source steward of XZ Utilities or Utils. And this is a file sharing system that basically Linux uses to move files back and forth, and it is core to the system of Linux. So if this is compromised, it can provide a backdoor into the Linux system that is being operated. Like I said, 80% of smartphones or 92% of servers, computer servers out there. So the thing that just blows everyone's minds is the fact that this alias was actually helping the Linux system for over 2 years. They got big references from a whole bunch of people. The FBI is certainly investigating all of this right now, but they got high praise from certain people that they were definitely not a security risk, that they were great, trustworthy people or something like that. And then they got into the Linux system, volunteering to do updates, volunteering to do coding for no fee or anything like that. That's how the Linux system is updated, is by volunteers who basically, just for the credit of what they accomplish, are the ones who do this. Just like lawyers do, like pro bono representation of clients who are being charged with crimes. So coders and software developers sometimes will volunteer their time to upkeep programs or processes in order to keep things functioning. And so they're basically done by volunteers, sort of like volunteer firefighters, right? It's a way of giving back. So when somebody steps up and starts doing work and starts doing what's necessary in a volunteer system, and yeah, it is absolutely crazy that a volunteer system is what upholds 80% of smartphones out there, their operating system, and over 92% of servers. Computer servers are run by this Linux program that's basically just written by random people who are working together to create software and an operating system, so you don't have to buy Windows and you don't have to buy Mac OS. And so all of this, way oversimplified, is basically Windows for servers, okay? That's way oversimplified. But the exploit was inserted well over a month ago, back in February, and all of March it was not detected. A Microsoft coder saw something weird going on with his operating system and took a harder look at it, very detailed look at the code of what was going on. Why was logins taking longer? And the reason why logins were taking longer into this utility is because it had a backdoor exploit built into it. And so when he took a look at that more, realized how big of a vulnerability this is. And like I said, security experts over the past week have been freaking out about this. It was discovered on March 29th, so last weekend. So last weekend, there federal people and coders and Microsoft and Linux people did not get any sleep because this was a massive breach. And then the question is how do you roll this back? So they rolled back to a previous deployment before this exploit was put into the system. But the problem is any operating system, any servers, when you're talking 92% of servers around the world that have to be rolled back to a previous operating system, they have to be taken offline, and an old system has to, an old distribution of Linux has to be reinstalled in there. Undoing an update is kind of a big deal. That's not a small deal, that's a big deal. And how many of these computers get missed along the way? How many of these servers are just into automatic updates that don't actually get this new rollback of the system? And for over a month, this exploit was hanging out there. Basically, any Linux servers they wanted to tap into, they could just type in a password, log into that system, and access anything on that server. Does that sound like a little bit of a problem to you? How many bank passwords, how many bank account numbers, how many social security numbers could have been accessed through all that? Now, the one thing that is a little bit of relief to you and I's is the fact that this was done by a nation state. It is almost universally accepted already that this was either a Chinese-backed hacker or probably a hacking group. As they've taken a look at the persons exploits and their work on the Linux system, it looks more and more like this was a hacking group. This is a very subtle hack that was put into the system that was probably done by a nation state. Now, the usual suspects are thrown out there: China, Russia. I don't know why people keep throwing out North Korea, because, like, seriously, you really think North Korea could do this? But I want to always kind of throw into the mix the other guys, CIA or NSA. If they wanted to get into any servers out there around the world, that would be something that would not be beyond the NSA to do, because they absolutely do that kind of stuff. And anyone who doesn't understand that, you're looking through the world with rose-colored glasses. They've been caught doing that kind of stuff so many times that it's just sickening. They cover it up, but the fact is that you can see that that they have a long and storied history of doing that to Americans' data, and they use all sorts of things to cover it up. But this could have been the United States. Now, since it is impacting Linux systems, it very well may be China or somebody who wants others to think it was China. And that's why I threw out the CIA, NSA network there too. So we have this major exploit happening out there. For those of you who may wonder why your information has suddenly gone haywire, that may be one of the reasons. You may have been subject to this hack over the past month. We definitely are checking into that, and we will keep you updated on any updates on that. Will we ever get any updates? This account has gone completely dark. Jia Chong Tan has disappeared off the internet just as fast as they had appeared originally, and so we probably won't ever hear the end of the story, except we may see some impacts from this hack down the road. All right, friends, that's what I got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.